James Gunn's Superman paid tribute to Christopher Reeve by incorporating a role that defines personal and professional careers together. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Will Reeve's cameo in James Gunn's Superman is more than just a tribute to his father, the legendary Christopher Reeve. According to Reeve, the role he played as a television news correspondent wasn't just a clever nod to his real-life career, it was an incredibly personal and meaningful experience. He shared that Superman had many cameos alongside its wonderful main acting cast. One of them was Will Reeve, the son of veteran actor Christopher Reeve. In hindsight, it seems that James Gunn paid tribute to an exemplary actor in a way by including his son in the movie, which is a great directorial move. In an interview with the New York Post, via People, Will Reeve shared his thoughts on being a part of James Gunn's vision, saying, "I went on set, I did my thing for a few minutes, and then got in the car to head back to the airport to go home." He further explained, laughing, "And by the time I had gotten to the gate, it had leaked online that I had a cameo." With the fans keeping their eyes on the news to watch out for the movements in such big films, it seems that the audience did have an idea of Reeve being a part of the film, though only hardcore fans noticed his role in the film. Let's dive deep into what the actor has more to tell about his work in the film, and why James Gunn's casting move proves to be the most strategic. Reeve also shared his experience of working in the film, that despite being comfortable on live television, he was terrified with all the people around him on the set and having to deliver his single line. His comment highlights the real emotion behind the cameo, making it a powerful and touching moment for fans of his father and the Superman's character. "I was honored to get the call from the wonderful filmmakers, and I jumped at the opportunity." He further continued saying, "It was a nice homage, I think, to my dad, who for millions of people has been Superman for generations, and for the filmmakers of this new version of Superman. To include me as a way to include him meant a lot." The role itself was a perfect fit for Reeve, as he is a correspondent for ABC News. The mirroring of his real-life profession with the character of a journalist in Superman is a beautiful replica of his father Christopher Reeve's dual identity as Clark Kent and a hardworking reporter. This proves the director's vision for the movie and his long-term perspective regarding the characters. With Superman, he did not just make a movie, but created a universe that will align many stories in the future. James Gunn's approach to filmmaking seems to be different, insightful, and well thought out. Each of the character portrayal in the film have something to do with the storyline. In simple terms, none of the actors look lethargic or unimportant. Apart from Will Reeve, several other moments honor the past while setting up the future. We see John Cena reprising his role as Peacemaker and Frank Grillo appearing as Rick Flag Sr., roles that were established in previous DC projects. Moreover, even Gunn's brother, Sean Gunn, shows up as Maxwell Lord, a key character who will surely be important later on. All these characters just do not fill up the positions, but when you see the film, you realize that these portrayals always existed and are now of great importance. In short, it's a way of saying, this is the DC universe, and it's full of history. At the end, what makes James Gunn's Superman so promising is not just the film's action or the special effects. It's the heart and soul that Gunn and his team have poured into it. It's a message that the past isn't something to be forgotten, but something to be honored as we look to the future. What do you think about Will Reeve's character in the film? Let us know in the comments below. James Gunn has enough potential to follow through on the success of Superman, but the perfect sequel to the 2025 film already exists in animation. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. In Superman, Unbound, a brash hero takes the center stage against Brainiac as the Man of Steel fights relentlessly to protect Krypton's capital city, Kandor, as well as Earth's metropolis. While Superman is famously renowned for his otherworldly righteousness and a just outlook on all things, xenomorphic or otherwise, Unbound brings out the bolder version of him, who is yet to turn sage and wise by time and experience. With a fair amount of politics and way too many ethical dilemmas to tread in the film, Superman, Unbound mimics the complexities of James Gunn's Superman. The conflict shown in Brainiac's instruction to explore and learn all that is knowable about the galaxy and his literal interpretation of the directive that causes him to destroy civilizations posits a moral yet dangerous dilemma, which can easily best the intensity of the Borovia versus Jaramper conflict. In a perfect world, the 2013 animated movie, Superman, Unbound, would be the perfect successor to James Gunn's DCU debut feature. The film has all the qualities and story elements suited to follow up Clark Kent's story from his early rise in Metropolis and fight against Lex Luthor and his clone, Ultraman. Unbound is upbeat, optimistic, full of hope for the future, has a deep-rooted connection to Krypton throughout the movie's arc rather than keeping it as a one-and-done forgotten backstory, and above all, boasts a villain formidable enough to single-handedly capture and beat Superman. If that alone does not make it a spiritual successor to the DCU Superman, then what else qualifies? In a perfect world, the 2013 animated movie, Superman, Unbound, would be the perfect successor to James Gunn's DCU debut feature. The film has all the qualities and story elements suited to follow up Clark Kent's story from his early rise in Metropolis and fight against Lex Luthor and his clone, Ultraman. Unbound is upbeat, optimistic, full of hope for the future, has a deep-rooted connection to Krypton throughout the movie's arc rather than keeping it as a one-and-done forgotten backstory, and above all, boasts a villain formidable enough to single-handedly capture and beat Superman. If that alone does not make it a spiritual successor to the DCU Superman, then what else qualifies? After much despair, doubt, and debate, James Gunn upturned the audience's expectations by delivering a near-perfect entree into the DCU with Superman. But the issue with swinging right out of the gate with nice reviews and great ratings is that Gunn is now expected to maintain the bar at a high and constant level throughout his run at DCU. Considering his previous show and tell at Marvel with the Guardians trilogy, Gunn has already earned the masses' trust. DC now trusts him to deliver a meaningful, impactful, driven, and emotional journey that can stand the test of time and cure superhero fatigue. Despite its 75-minute runtime, Superman, Unbound paints a complete picture of the Kryptonian superhero, shows him at his worst before he can rise to his best, while also preaching the value of love, support, trust, and teamwork. Voiced by Matt Bomer, Unbound Superman holds a mirror to David Corenswet's version in the DC Universe. The film is rated 100% on Rotten Tomatoes and has grossed $3.5 million in domestic home video earnings, the numbers. All of this might be too much to ask of James Gunn, but the filmmaker has steadily laid out his plans for DCU Chapter 1, which is nothing short of dynamic, powerful, motivated, and glorious. His projects range all over the board, from a true detective-style Lantern series to a full-on body horror movie, Clayface. Other projects like The Brave and the Bold, Sergeant Rock, and a parallel timeline Peacemaker ensure that Gunn is not afraid of coloring outside the lines. It is this unpredictable eccentricity of the filmmaker that makes his universe so interesting and refreshing to watch. Whether or not he can follow up with the success of Superman and deliver on his potential remains to be seen. I wasn't a big fan of James Gunn's one recurring theme that turned out perfect for Superman. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. James Gunn's knack of adding weird and obscure characters in movies wasn't always ideal, but Green Lantern worked out perfectly for Superman. Pick any James Gunn movie,